watches through to us here. Visitors to one of St. Petersburg's amusement parks were in for a nasty shock as a cable snapped on the ride, leaving them suspended in midair 70 metres above the ground. Luckily, rescue teams did make it to the spot just in time to free the stranded passengers, literally hanging upside down there. Such a close call. It isn't the first safety scare at this amusement park either. It seems 2 years ago a 12-year-old girl suffered serious injuries after a trampoline accident, again, ironically, that time involving also a
Speed up rail. I'm falling! You're kidding!
Davenport, Iowa. When the Ferris wheel stalls, a man panics. Terribly frightened, he climbs out of his seat. His friend struggles to pull him back in. If she leans too far forward, the young man will fall. Desperate, she grabs hold of his shirt. But it's no use. Watch again. The terrified man crashes onto one support beam and then another.
One of my favorites. Everyone here is all smiles. Look at the kids, all happy. The best part is when they start to speed up the ride, right? They're really enjoying themselves, but watch what happens. Yeah. Maureen, that's the child in the front of that video clip you see there. The ride hits the ground, the child hits the ground, bounces up in the air, and comes back down again. A lot of people seriously injured in that.
And there were still screams as people rode at least one roller coaster, but the Batman ride remained closed. One day before, a 17-year-old boy, now identified as Asia Ferguson of South Carolina, was decapitated and killed after he was struck by the ride moving at roughly 50 miles an hour. Authorities say Ferguson had just ridden the coaster and had jumped 2 fences afterward to get a hat he'd lost. The accident was on the minds of people heading to the park on Sunday.
He must have known that he was going somewhere where he shouldn't have gone.
Now, the small Siberian town of Berdsk is in shock after a 6-year-old boy fell to his death from a Ferris wheel. But before he plunged the 15-meter drop, bystanders did nothing to help him and laughed and joked as he lay dangling, terrified. Emma Jenkinson has a story.
Control buttons were easy to find and operate, and Maxim managed to switch it on. He decided to change seats mid-ride, but he slipped and was left dangling on a metal bar. He eventually lost his grip and fell 15 meters to the ground. Young people below watched the tragedy unfold and used their mobile phones to record the ordeal rather than helping the boy. They yelled for him to hold on tight, laughed, and then made jokes. Later, the video where Maxim can be heard crying for his mother appeared on the internet, and the police are eager to find who made it.
It's the world's largest indoor roller coaster. They call it the Mind Bender. But the Fantasyland ride turned into terror for 16 passengers. They were traveling at more than 100 kilometers per hour, picking up speed, going into the final series of 360-degree loops when tragedy struck. 3 of the 4 passengers in that final car were suddenly tossed out. The undercarriage was gone. The train careened forward, still on the tracks, dragging the final car. The emergency brake was then finally applied.
Stopped dead.
And then what happened?
And then Just sat there and waited for help.
Well, Vicky, Lassiter's statement is in court documents filed as part of a lawsuit against Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom. In it, she describes the details of what she saw, what she heard, and what life has been like ever since. It was the first ride 13-year-old Caitlin Lassiter and her friends rode, the Superman Tower of Power. And since there was nobody in line, they stayed on, deciding to ride it a second time. Caitlin and her friends switched seats. And in court documents, Caitlin describes the terrifying turn of events that unfolded next. She says, as we started to go up, we were laughing about something, and then it almost as if it jolted a little bit or something, like a whipping sound or something. We looked up, and there were a bunch of cables falling, and this was only about 20 feet off the ground. It kept going up, and at this point, I had cables all over my body. There was a cable hanging below me. There were cables all over my friends. She goes on to say, my lip was busted. I had cuts all over me, and I was bleeding and freaking out. I remember smoke and the smell of burning. I felt like I was going to die. We kept screaming, stop the ride. People were frantically freaking out. I remember something else fell on us, which was more cable. We even had cables around our necks, and we pulled them off. Something hard hit our heads, and then we dropped. Caitlin adds she doesn't remember much of the ride down, but does remember when they got to the bottom, saying, I remember feeling like I was on fire and smelling burning flesh. Everybody said I didn't think my feet were off, but I remember looking at my legs and scared for everything. I kept screaming out of control, and my leg was hurting. I remember asking them to let me get out. I just wanted to walk away and go home. Doctors reattached Caitlin's right foot after the accident, but her left leg had to be amputated below the knee. In the court documents, Lassiter says she can barely walk without a walker or crutches, and even then it's extremely slow. She says she is in constant pain, and her dreams are harder to realize now and do not seem achievable.